I'm Francis Collins, Director of the National Institutes of Health, NIH, and I am proud to have the honor of welcoming you here to the East Room of the White House for a very special scientific announcement by the President. Investing in biomedical research is one of the wisest choices we can make as a nation. The United States has long been at the forefront of one medical breakthrough after another, helping to save lives, improve people's health, and grow the economy. Moving forward, we as a country are extraordinarily fortunate to have a leader who places such a high value on science to unlock the mysteries of disease and discover new ways of overcoming them. But now we stand at the edge of another frontier in biomedicine and biological research, which the President will describe in a moment. I'm happy to salute the proposal the President put forward today, the B.R.A.I.N initiative. B.R.A.I.N stands for Brain Research through Advancing Innovative Neurotechnologies and aims to bring together nanoscience, engineering, and neurology to make sense of how the brain works, how those circuits in the brain allow us to do all the complicated things that currently we don't understand. And that will build a foundation that allows us then to understand what are the causes and ultimately the way to prevent and cure diseases like Alzheimer's, schizophrenia, autism, epilepsy, and traumatic brain injury. This is going to be an effort of NIH, Darpa, some private foundations all working together. It is bold, it is audacious, it is going to take quite a few years. We have an amazing dream team putting together the details, and out of this is going to come a foundation for understanding the brain that we have dreamed of all through human history, and now it will happen. So without further ado, it is a great personal privilege and a high honor to introduce our scientist-in-chief, the President of the United States, Barack Obama.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody. Please have a seat. Well, first of all, let me thank Dr. Collins, not just for the introduction, but for his incredible leadership at NIH. Those of you who know Francis also know that he's quite a gifted singer and musician, so I was asking whether he was going to be willing to sing the introduction, and he declined, but his leadership has been extraordinary.
And now we have a clip of Francis performing the John Lennon song, Imagine, with a new text on his at-home blog.
You may say it's just a virus, but it's not the common cold. And each one of us can spread it and put at risk the world. Imagine.
And I'm glad I've been promoted to scientist-in-chief. Given my grades in physics, I'm not sure it's deserving, but I hold science in proper esteem, so maybe that gives me a little credit. You know, today I've invited some of the smartest people in the country, some of the most imaginative,
Imagine all the people,
some very smart people, to talk about the challenge that I issued in my State of the Union address.
Well, we felt this was the perfect moment to convene a dream team of the most visionary neuroscientists across the board, from simple systems to complicated ones, from technology developers to people who are more interested in things like brain function at a higher level, and put them into a very clearly charged circumstance of telling us exactly what the right steps should be, what the milestones should be, what the deliverables and the timetables for this project to be successful. All of that is the charge to this group, which is going to be co-led by Corey Bargman from Rockefeller University and Bill Newsom from Stanford. And they're going to guide us. And a lot of what NIH does going forward will be very much dependent upon what this group comes up with. They're going to give us initial feedback this summer about what they think we should start on in fiscal year 14. But then we're going to ask them by the summer of 2014 to lay out a much more detailed schedule of what exactly the milestones ought to be so that we have a firm foundation for this project where we all know what we're trying to do. We're asking them to make their goals bold, maybe even audacious, but not crazy, achievable. And we're pretty confident we have the right groups to make that happen.
To grow our economy, to create new jobs, to reignite a rising, thriving middle class by investing in one of our core strengths, and that's American innovation. Ideas are what power our economy. Computer chips, GPS technology, the internet. All these things grew out of government investments in basic research, and sometimes, in fact, some of the best products and services spin off completely from unintended research that nobody expected to have certain applications.
NIH is the largest supporter of biomedical research in the world, and our focus in neuroscience has been very substantial over the years. We're now spending like $5.5 billion in neuroscience research even before this initiative gets started. And we will need the support of patient advocates for this kind of enterprise, recognizing that it is not going to be an overnight sensation, but something that will require a commitment over the course of quite a few years. Just as with the Genome Project back 20 years ago, where that kind of support from patient advocates was critical to get an enterprise underway that many people were skeptical about, but which ultimately has transformed a lot of what we do in medicine today.
Businesses then use that technology to create countless new jobs. So the founders of Google got their early support from the National Science Foundation. The Apollo project that put a man on the moon also gave us, eventually, CAT scans. And every dollar we spend to map the human genome has returned $140 to our economy. $1 of investment, $140 in return. So Dr. Collins helped lead that genome effort, and that's why we thought it was appropriate to have him here to announce the next great American project, and that's what we're calling the B.R.A.I.N Initiative.
You may say it's just a virus.
In the budget I will send to Congress next week, I will propose a significant investment by the National Institutes of Health, Darpa, and the National Science Foundation to help get this project off the ground.
So NIH in FY14, what the President was talking about this morning, is going to come up with $40 million in that budget to support this B.R.A.I.N initiative. That will come in part from dollars that are put together every year by a group of institute directors who are part of the Neuroscience Blueprint. So this brings together those institutes that are working on neuroscience directly, on mental health, on drug abuse, on eye diseases, all of these, of course, connected to the brain. And they have sort of a rolling investment fund that they try to figure out where to put those resources. And this is, in their view, the perfect kind of initiative to make those investments. So between that and some other institute contributions and a little bit from my own discretionary fund, we believe there's $40 million that can go into this enterprise to get it started, and then joining with DARPA and their $50 million, and NSF and another $20 million coming from there, and foundations that are ready to actually join in a big way, some of whom have been in this space already for quite a while, like the Allen Institute for Brain Science, the Kavli Foundation, the Howard Hughes Medical Institute, the Salk Institute. We actually, I think, could say this is going to be quite a strong start out of the gate with a project that's just now being announced.
So here to tell us a little bit about what their agency will be doing to advance the President's B.R.A.I.N initiative is Arthi Prabhakar, Director of DARPA.
It's great to be here with both of you today. DARPA is participating in this initiative out of a view that what is happening today in the biological sciences and the new research in brain technology, brain understanding, is really opening a window that we think is going to lead to some amazing and powerful capabilities ahead. Some of the work that we've been doing already has started to show us how we can have direct brain control of very sophisticated prosthetics. We're looking at what's possible in terms of understanding how memory is encoded in the brain and how we can start to imagine how we might repair and restore memory loss. As you can imagine, both of those are examples of challenges that our wounded warriors face and very much an issue that's of concern to us as part of the Defense Department. We also think that as we learn more about how the brain functions, there are going to be opportunities ahead perhaps to inspire new information processing architectures or new computing approaches. There are going to be new opportunities to understand how all of us learn and assess and gather new information. And these first few steps that we're going to be taking, I think, are going to lead to some amazing capabilities. Within DARPA, this is an initiative that we're excited about, but it's really one of a very broad set of activities across a diverse portfolio of interests. And that ranges from a number of things that we do that are much more military unique, but across the technology spectrum, other areas of biologically inspired research, including looking at new approaches to diagnose and then treat infectious disease, work that we are doing on the big data front, which actually may have some very interesting applications in this enterprise as well. But more broadly, where we're trying to develop the tools and the capabilities that will allow many different application areas to use new insights to get real insight and knowledge and meaning out of vast heterogeneous data sets. Other work that we're doing to advance the frontiers of material science and to come up with new pathways to come up with materials with novel properties that we haven't even been able to imagine yet today.
So as a result, we're still unable to cure diseases like Alzheimer's or autism or fully reverse the effects of a stroke. And the most powerful computer in the world isn't nearly as intuitive as the one we're born with. So there's this enormous mystery waiting to be unlocked. And the B.R.A.I.N initiative will change that by giving scientists the tools they need to get a dynamic picture of the brain in action and better understand how we think and how we learn and how we remember. And that knowledge will be transformative. I'm directing my bioethics commission to make sure all of the research is being done in a responsible way. And we're also partnering with the private sector, including leading companies and foundations and research institutions, to tap the nation's brightest minds to help us reach our goal. What if computers could respond to our thoughts, or our language barriers could come tumbling down? Or if millions of Americans were suddenly finding new jobs in these fields, jobs we haven't even dreamt up yet because we chose to invest in this project. That's the future we're imagining. That's what we're hoping for. That's why the B.R.A.I.N initiative is so absolutely important, and that's why it's so important that we think about basic research generally as a driver of growth, and that we replace the across-the-board budget cuts that are threatening to set us back before we even get started. We can't afford to miss these opportunities while the rest of the world races ahead. We have to seize them. I don't want the next job-creating discoveries to happen in China or India or Germany. I want them to happen right here in the United States of America. And that's part of what this B.R.A.I.N initiative is about. We can't predict what that next big thing will be. We don't know what life will be like 20 years from now or 50 years or 100 years down the road. What we do know is if we keep investing in the most promising solutions to our toughest problems, then things will get better. I don't want our children or grandchildren to look back on this day and wish we had done more to keep America at the cutting edge. I want them to look back and be proud that we took some risks, that we seized this opportunity. That's what the American story is about. That's who we are. That's why this B.R.A.I.N initiative is so important. And if we keep taking bold steps like the one we're talking about to learn about the brain, then I'm confident America will continue to lead the world in the next frontiers of human understanding. And all of you are going to help us get there. So I'm very excited about this project. Francis, let's get to work. God bless you, and God bless the United States of America. Thank you.
You may say it's just a virus.